I can't believe how far Halo MCC has come in the last almost 7 years. With the release of Season 8 for Halo MCC, well, it's starting to wind down. Amazing mod tools have been given to the community, and with less than 2 months to Halo Infinite, this behemoth of a collection is starting to begin its sunset process. And as I was poking around with some of the new Halo 3 cosmetics, I was hit with this massive wave of nostalgia. This game hasn't always been smooth sailing, and in fact, it almost crippled my channel when it first came out with how busted the game was. But looking at where things are today, I just can't believe that I got to experience these older Halo games as much as we have, and new maps and cosmetics and all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of bonuses. There's, good and bad to everything, as is the case with MCC. But today, let's look back at this 7-year journey and wrap up what has become a rather enjoyable and happy set of memories. Also, if I sound weird, I'm sorry. I'm getting over COVID. I'm on day 14, and it is nasty. So that's why it's been slow on the channel lately. The early days, 2014, was not those happy memories I was just talking about. When MCC was first announced at E3, myself and other Halo channels were losing their minds. There's this great video by Modest Major. I'll leave it linked down in the description below. I'm not sure if the music has copyright or not. It's got Lurker Zero, Hagstrom's, Cleanup, Ubernick, myself, just audio clips from videos we had made at the time of how excited we were about Halo MCC, Halo 2 Anniversary. Little did we know just how busted the release was going to be and how long it was going to take before the Master Chief Collection was in a playable state. So this is sort of a cool story that I didn't really remember until I went back and researched for this video. 343 studio head Bonnie Ross wanted Halo 4 to be a launch title for the Xbox One instead of it releasing in 2012, right at the end of the 360's lifespan. This, timing of release left a pretty big gap in between Halo 4 and Halo 5. Combat Evolved Anniversary released on the 10-year anniversary of CE, and the initial plan was something similar for Halo 2 Anniversary, for it to release at least within the first few years of the new console's lifecycle. As such, Halo the Master Chief Collection was put into development with 343 Industries, Certain Affinity, Saber Interactive, and its development assistance by United Front Games and new cutscenes from Blur Studio. A lot of people involved, basically, is my point. And then when the release happened in November of 2014, it was awful. It was a super, super big mess, you guys. Bugs everywhere, absolutely everywhere. In single player, in multiplayer, matchmaking didn't work. I mean, you could spend hours and hours just trying to connect to a single game, and this went on for weeks and months, man. And if you weren't playing during those first few months, you really don't realize just how busted it was. I mean, MCC was the poster child of what not to do in the game development space for years to come. Bonnie Ross, just a few weeks after the release on November 24th, issued a public apology stating that issues that have resulted in a frustrating experience, including long matchmaking times and low session success rates, were something that they were sorry for. And Microsoft, as an apology, gave a free month of Xbox Live Gold, a special avatar and nameplate, and a free download copy of the Halo 3 ODST campaign when it would release for MCC a little bit later. Now, MCC kind of remained a bit of a laughingstock and, like I said, the poster child of unfinished games for years to come, with so many bugs. Some that were funny, like I remember when I was on a PB for a Halo CE easy speedrun and the game just crashed to the dashboard, which was kind of amazing.
No.
And then having, launch settings on certain maps, and so many things were just wrong, man. It was just so wrong. And there really wasn't a whole lot of communication about what was going on with Halo the Master Chief Collection. To be honest, everybody kind of just abandoned it, and it did improve somewhat, very slowly, and you could, in 2016 connect to matches better than you could in 2014, but there wasn't a whole lot of public fanfare about it or any longer term plans. But that all changed big time in 2018. In April of 2018, the MCC Insider program was launched to playtest upcoming changes for MCC. This was the beginning of the turn. This was the change. This is like the big deal, you guys. This is when the consistent updates and communication started coming down for big improvements to the title. And every single test and every set of few months would go by, MCC would grow and improve and it was pretty freaking awesome. They brought back some like cool Halo 2 glitches, like sword flying in the campaign that led to an increase in speed running. And, you know, on August 27th of 2018, there was a renewed momentum, a lot of hype, at least with the diehard community, for the fact that this game looked like it had hope for the first time. I enjoyed participating in those early flights, and we didn't really know it at the time, but look at how Halo Infinite is utilizing a flighting system. The groundwork that Halo MCC's Insider program laid is kind of the precursor to the way that 343 is designing and testing games now with Infinite, you know? And that brings us to the PC inning, when they announced that all the games were coming to PC. And man, that was extremely exciting. Alongside the announcement that crossplay between Xbox and PC would be made available by the end of 2020. And that came about November 17th of 2020. And when it comes to the PC games, it was a rough start to, you know, the launches of these titles. Reach had crazy uncapped frame rate issues. CE had hit detection problems. Halo 2 Classic and Anniversary both had some of the uncapped frame rate issue things. Thankfully, Halo 3 released fairly strong and Halo 4 released fairly strong, and a lot of those mistakes and like issues were resolved throughout the year. It took a long time, but that iterative design process that the MCC team put together really helped the collection turn into something quite special the last year. Regardless what kind of system you're on, the game seems to run quite well now, and it's pretty special being able to play this game with your Xbox friends and PC buddies at the same time. Along with the improvements came lots of new content and skins. We even saw some new maps coming into Halo 3, which was pretty special, the custom game browser, and now mod tools, very powerful mod tools that the community has access to. I've had a lot of special memories on Halo MCC the last few years, and I never thought I would get the chance to keep playing these games. I make YouTube videos because of how much I enjoyed Halos 1, 2, and 3 back when I was younger. Like, that is why I started a channel in the first place, is these games meant a ton to me, and I wanted to just create content for them. Ultimately, that grew into like more FPS content, and heck, the fact that the game was broken in 2014 gave me a lot of momentum to transition into Destiny and doing a Destiny podcast and exploring other FPS games. Everything has a story is basically what I'm saying, and Halo the Master Chief Collections is a really cool comeback tale. I've always sort of been confused too about just the lack of monetization in the last few years. They've put together a lot of new stuff and a lot of time into this game that I just bought back in 2014. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's correct they're making amends by fixing what was a huge disaster, and I was really heartbroken when this thing was in the busted state that it was. It negatively impacted the Halo space huge for years, and I think it's still recovering from that blow of having a non-functioning game for a year and a half. But where we are now, it's a really, really cool success story for other developers and other games, because I think they made it right. So to anybody who worked on MCC or whatever, if this somehow gets back to them, tip my hat to you. Thanks. This has been really cool. The new skins, the new content, the updates, the ongoing support. This will remain a really great way to play these games moving forward, and I do think it's a good little time capsule if you wanted to go back and experience them. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm really, really ready for Halo Infinite. And I'm not saying goodbye to Halo MCC forever, but you can bet I'm going to be playing a lot of these games in the next month and a half. Really enjoying what was a 7-year game that I got a lot more mileage out of than I expected to. What did you guys think about your time with Halo MCC and the history? When did you start playing it? Are you still playing it? Let me know about it down in the comments below. Miss you guys. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being patient with me. And I hope my voice is okay. It should sound normal, I hope, soon. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again next time.